don't know. I swear, I feel like I'm getting so stupid writing these answers.
Well, when you realize that you're a fool, you're getting closer and closer to breakthrough psychology, breakthrough consciousness. Soon you'll be the sage as opposed to the schmuck.
He realized he was a fool. Like...
You don't think Jesus played the same game? He played the ultimate schmuck, and he won. This is how if you want to live long and play the game well, be like Jim Carrey.
Kitover, this is the last thing you said. You said because it comes down to opinion, interpretation, and understanding, then it becomes legal, social, political, trollish, and that's the way birds chirp in a tree.
Exactly. You ever been to court? It's like talking to a bunch of bird brains. They just sing songs and then they ignore you. What do you think birds do? They're just playing. And if you are here but you're not having fun, you don't realize it's supposed to be playful.
There's somebody on this app that says that you're a genius.
Yeah, lots of people call it genius to hit a button, but I just call it the book club.
Okay, you ready, John?
Ready? I was born ready. Go ahead, Scarface.
Second. I wish it didn't happen, but it's true. Okay, let's go. If intelligence leads you closer to God, and intelligence itself varies from person to person, how can God be equally accessible to all if access depends on an unequal trait? Kitover. Like you're saying that Forrest Gump doesn't have the ability to be close to God. I think he gave up. Diego, do you want to go back to something?
Let's go back to saying.
I mean, you killed him when. How do you verify?
No, I'm still here. I was getting a cup of coffee.
Person or
do you want to add?
Yeah. Listen, some people, they get a lot of money. They might win the lottery, or they might inherit a lot of money, and therefore they can buy $1 million vehicle. Some people have to build the car themselves, meaning that your body, your brain is a chariot or a house, and how you furnish it is what the book club's all about. But you may go to the book club and you might read a book for 50 years and still not have the comprehension or understanding that other people might gather from that information. But nonetheless, this is a specific category of interest. This is not engineering. This is not computer science. This is not a technical field of study. This is, if you call it eschatology or theology or philosophy, it's the book club.
I just hope that, Cynic, you've learned how not to answer questions through Kitover.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm a politician. I'm also a musician. I am also a magician. And I just got to tell you, if you don't like my opinions, that's your opinion. But the universe is transforming whether you like it or not. And your opinions might not be smarter than mine. Just think about it.
If you only had anything that is coherent, logically consistent, a matrix.
What is that, a song from The Wizard of Oz? If he only had a brain.
Okay, so
you have a church that you call the book club, and you'll...
Yeah, go to John Kitover Church on Instagram if you want to join my church.
And the Father, and the Pope. That's what you make yourself. But
you might be projecting.
So,
projection alert. Projection alert. Projection alert.
Okay, Diego, is it okay if we go back to Mikhail?
That's all, man.
I don't know why you're asking him. He's like driving or doing something. He's out.
Okay, Mikhail, number 12.
Have you tried connecting to the Wi-Fi?
Okay, number 12. If the distinctions are, quote, real, but not in the essence, if the distinction, quote, real, quote, not in the essence, end quote, where exactly do these real distinctions exist?
External to God.
How can it be external to God when God is external and internal?
Allahu Akbar at one point. God is not.
You see, you can't get a straight answer out of these Muslims. They always go back to the Arabic. Speak in English so we can understand what you're saying.
Like, you answer questions. Do you want to keep talking? She can ask you more questions if you want.
Subhanallah, wana. Come on, go ahead, Cynic.
I'm not gonna sit here and answer questions.
Okay, external to God, dependent on God, God is not the Vahe.
The creation doesn't happen in God Himself, as in panentheism, like what the Kabbalists tell you. No, creation isn't happening in God. God is literally the very point that the whole XY axis can be displayed on. Like, if it wasn't for that 0 point, when you look at a graph, you wouldn't be able to center no XY axis. You wouldn't be able to create a
XY axis or
mathematical.
XYZ axis? Because earlier you said XYZ.
That's just 3D plus time dynamic axis. You're getting reality. That's what we are. 4D.
Okay, number 13. If they
But
exist,
external as in not for you to understand via that eternally there is like dualism. Like whenever you're starting thinking dualism, immediately you're getting the wrong understanding. There is a creator distinction, absolutely, and the substance of creation is not the substance of God. It's a real thing. Non-dual realism. It's a real thing. It's created, though. But what's eternally generated is the field that allows this creation to exist, the actualized potential. The field of actualized potential. Which is, if you look at the XY graph, the potential for you to create a hyperbola, a circle, a square, to graph a function. All of this is potentialized potential. It's there. What gets actualized? So potential actualized, this is the creation.
okay, number 13. If they exist, do you want to reread your answer, or are you satisfied?
That's my answer. If you were able to write it down, or
I mean, what I wrote is this: external to God, dependent on God. God is not the Vahed, as in creation doesn't happen in Him.
I'm going to use external because then it's going to like maybe translate it in all in a million.
But you want me to remove external to God and put dependent on God?
Yeah, distinct, real, a distinct substance. It is real. So by saying real, it is a substance.
Okay, I'm going to remove, because you initially said external to God. I'm going to write dependent on
I'll
God.
just say real. Yeah, real.
Real to God?
Yeah, it is real.
Okay, real to God,
It's
dependent
just
on God.
contingent.
It's just contingent. Okay, hold on. It's just...
And the creation is
Hold
not...
Hold on, you keep adding stuff. Real to God is just contingent, dependent on God. God is not the Vahed, as in creation doesn't happen in Him.
God is
what you said.
Yeah, we're not doing this. I'm holding you up on one word. You haven't even responded to the points to say, like, oh, you're changing to begin with. Yeah, I'm making sure because I know what you mean in AI, so you gotta be very careful how to use it. So God is God. He said that.
Okay, God is the Vahed, as in creation doesn't happen in Him, as in pantheism.
Panentheism. Yeah, it's not pantheism, it's not panentheism.
Okay, as in,
Monotheism.
as in panentheism, the God is literally the very point that XYZ access that he can be in. When you're thinking dualism, you're getting the wrong understanding. There is a creator-creation distinction. The substance of creation is not the substance of God. What is eternally generated is the field that allows this to exist, actualized potential, which is to look at the XY graph, the potential to create a hierarchy, a function, etc. That's what. Is that fine, or do you need more?
And everything has to start from that point 0, 0. On
And
what that
everything
function is.
starts from that point 0, 0. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Okay.
Okay, if you're writing this down, you're practically writing down.
Yeah, I mean, this is so stupid. Are we doing like a secretarial fucking clerical? This is so stupid, Princess. What a waste of time. Just fucking film it. Record it. What's the point of writing it? Why is Simon talking like that?
Acting like his hair is on fire.
Why is Simon talking like that and wasting our time?
Number 13.
Seriously, isn't he? He's like always acting like his hair is on
Dude,
fire.
that's how he lost his hair in the first place.
I'm not even surprised.
Okay, number 13.
Hello?
Number 13.
What a waste of time.
Number 13.
He's black now.
Hello?
If they exist
Hello?
by the essence. Okay, ready?
Alright.
He loves it. He loves it.
He loves it, Simon. It's so much more entertaining than you, Simon. You're so boring.
We'll push him to the audience.
Subjectively speaking, Simon is boring.
Number 13. If they exist outside the essence, then what is the metaphysical location of these distinctions if nothing divine exists outside God?
Yeah, they're not divine. The creation is not divine.
Amazing. That's an amazing statement right there.
Only God is, again, when we speak English, when we're talking about these things from a Western framework, we need to understand we can't help but introduce subconsciously a lot of Christian frameworks too. That's just where we are. That's the Western civilization. It's evolved around Christianity, whether we like it or not.
Yeah.
So that's why we have to be very nuanced, because it comes with the baggage of the history of Christian frameworks. So we got to be very careful. But understand, when I'm thinking about this stuff, a lot of it is from Arabic to English. So a lot of fundamentals, looking at religion and metaphysics, it's in Arabic. Why? Because God's speech is in Arabic. His explanation of himself, reality, attributes, it's all in Arabic. So we build off that, and the best thing we can do is translate it. That's what it is.
I don't think you could answer the question basically. The most we can do is translate.
Funny, that was funny. That was good. Because the words kind of sound similar, so that was
Thank you.
You said to the Jews, you mean from the Jews?
How are you
To the Jews would still be.
Why would you yell the N-word? Like, what is, that's so incoherent also. Like, what are you gaining from it? Do you get off on it? Do you think you're like...
To demonstrate the hypocrisy of their inconsistent use of insulting language. For example,
You were saying that?
hold on, let's hear him out. Okay, so what's your example? This is a room where I actually can be heard at. This is a place
Yeah,
where
I mean, when you
trust
don't
that I
push
can
it
be
too
heard
far, yes.
Okay, so what's your hypocrisy angle? What's the hypocrisy? My point is, oh, he's on the phone. He's off the phone.
No,
He's off the phone. Who? You.
No, I have never touched the phone.
I never used a phone.
No, literally it didn't ring and I didn't make a call. So if it literally.
Hello?
Yeah, well, that's a glitch.
Oh my god, just finish your
Oh my
point.
God! Hold on. Okay, so my point is this: in Amir's room, they use insulting language. They say "motherfucker." They say the B word. They say the F word. He calls
What
me
is the B word?
Bitch.
Oh God. What is the F word?
Faggot.
Yeah, but there are levels to insulting words. Those are like pretty much mainstream. Those are mainstream.
Jeffrey.
Yeah.
This is exactly
Yakov.
Yakov. This is
I know what you're saying, but
I know.
whatever you want to call it.
So
Yakov is the
the notion that there are levels of insults is the point that I am trying to respond to. And if you want to enter into a respectful debate right now, we don't have to, but we can. But my submission would be,
Trash bag.
wait a minute, I'm still talking.
But like, why do you care? How old are you? Aren't you in your 40s?
Not yet.
Okay, so you're in your
Not
30s?
mentally.
Apparently.
Not mentally. Wait, can I
Well, maybe you should grow
look at how patient I'm being with this rude
Just
interruption?
let him finish because he's gonna share it anyway. So we can
sitting
keep it.
here
He
on-
shares it.
I have been sitting here listening for 15 minutes, and I'm sorry, but grow up.
You're one to speak, girl. That's projection. You use profanity all the time here. You're the biggest fucking cunt, loud mouth bitch out there, Yasmin. Who the fuck are you to say anything about my?
I like Jersey because it's a mix.
Oh, we roasted that bitch.
Exactly. You could make money if you know how to play any instrument. You just gotta go there. Hey, I worked for this company. I worked with them making this soundtrack or these soundtracks. That's on your CV. The next company, oh shit, this guy's already professional. He's gonna hop in the studio. He knows what to do. Boom! All of a sudden, you're just getting hired. You could totally make money off learning how to play an instrument.
100%.
And not the guitar, not the fucking electric guitar, like classical instrument.
It means that even black people know how black people can behave. Even black people understand that. They know that it doesn't come from a place of. You use the word aversion. That's the first thing I'll actually dispute. Okay, it's not enough on the basis of skin color, because that would seem to suggest it's like a stubborn, irrational bigotry. I don't consider myself a bigot. I consider myself a racial realist. I'm realistic about how the races are, and I speak provocatively about it. And I speak provocatively about our tribalistic instincts and tendencies as human beings. And I'm not a liberal ideologue that says that over time and with enough education, we're all going to see this great brotherhood where we're colorblind and everybody's the same. I don't think that's ever going away. I think that race is real. It's not just skin deep. It matters to us and it matters to each other. And black people know that, and Hispanics know that, and Asians know that. And people like me that have partial Mexican ancestry, we know that too. And I think on that basis, we can have mutual respect and understanding, not aversion based on skin color.
The reason I use the word aversion is you literally said
Calling somebody a jerk.
Chris Morgan is such a good congressman. I don't think like that
word or the N-word or something.
Based on my skin color.
Calling somebody.
No, that's called economy of information. That's economy of information. That's safety. And I said in the same monologue, if you watch it, it's like I feel sorry. The problem is you clip the 10 seconds. I don't know if you watched the whole show, but in that monologue I said, most black people are not violent or criminals. I said, and it's unfortunate that we're going to offend them when we turn and walk the other way. I said, but the problem is we don't know. We can't tell. And someone like Irina Zarutska, she sat down in front of a black man with her headphones in and wasn't paying attention because she was being a good liberal and said, I'm not uncomfortable by this. I'm progressive. Then she got stabbed in the neck. And I said, it's unfortunate that you would have to sit behind the black man to be safe. And if he's not violent or schizophrenic, he might be offended.
Who told you sitting behind him will make you safe, nigga?
Deranged white man commits atrocious acts of violence.
Fortunately, far fewer. You have a research team.
You're obviously extremely exercised by that one story, which was horrific. Absolutely horrific. And should never have happened to a child who perpetrated that evil act and a string of previous offences and should have been picked up more, and it should have been
amplify more. I completely concur with all of that. But I just suspect you have no idea how many white people have committed similar crimes, do you?
No, because I know it's far fewer from experience.
Okay.
Because it's like you said. Well, and hang on, and I would add to that, Irina Zarutska wasn't the first one. That was also after Austin Metcalf was killed in Texas.
Sure.
After
How many
Cornelius and
times has it
stabbed
been
him in the neck.
perpetrated by white people?
Well, hang on, let me finish my point.
But
And then
white
I'll
people don't do this. And my point to you, Nicolantis, is of course,
Well, I never said white people don't do
of course,
it.
deranged white people commit these acts. But you don't either know, you neither know nor care, or maybe both, but you do know, but don't care. You only seem to be focused on black people who commit crimes. And again, if you hadn't prefaced the whole debate about racism by openly conceding you are a racist, I could read other connotations into what you've been saying. But once you've said, okay, I'm a racist, and then you only talk about black crime, I think people can watch this and they can say, yeah, he's a racist. And everything that he says about crime is driven to the prism of being a racist.
Bro, Chris Morgan is 2010, bro. As a racist, it's like the end of the world.
It's funny because it's quite unexpected. And I said this in a similar monologue. The problem is not that I wake up and I walk down the street and I see someone that doesn't look like me and it makes me angry. The problem is there's a pattern of behavior, which we've all seen.
Like to him, it's like end all be all since the beginning of the show.
And they become narcissistic because they've been told they're victims of racism, they're victims of slavery. They've been told, really, there's no accountability. If they're rude, if they're inconsiderate, if they're criminal, they are told that they have no agency for their actions. They're being told, if you act in this way, it's because the white man made you that way. It's because the system's rigged against you. And so we've been telling black people this for a generation, and now there's no rules. Now they go, and what we hate to see as decent people, not even as white people, but decent people, even black people too, what we hate to see is rudeness, obnoxiousness.
You look like the CEO of Uber and lead singer of Disturbed had a child.
And that's that pattern of behavior that we see all over social media. On the
You don't like black people who blame the victim and are rude. Is that your position?
I don't like that pattern of behavior.
Are you a narcissist?
I see where this is going.
You're ahead of me.
Turn this around.
You're ahead of me, aren't you? Because when I said,
very clever.
What black friends have you got? You said,
I'm kind of black.
Yay. No, not that. You said,
yeah.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying your choice of black friend is Ye, who is arguably the #1 black victimhood narcissist in America.
That's so stupid, bro. Like, what happened to Obama?
He's your friend. He's one of the very few black people you want to be associated with, and he's the epitome of what you just said you abhor about narcissistic black people.
I disagree. I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. Because if you've ever met him in real life...
I have, yeah.
Okay, well, then you know. He's nothing but polite, considerate.
He seemed very rude to me the last 2 times I interviewed him. He's a supreme narcissist, and he's also...
You keep interrupting me. You're very rude, are you? Are you black? You're being very rude by interrupting me right now.
It's okay. You don't want to finish my point.
I do want to finish my point about Ye. He is the guy who, when I was with him, wanted to make sure that everybody was heard, everybody felt included. He's actually a very soft-spoken guy, very polite, and by the way, not violent. When you look at all the rappers that are in the music game, many of them, especially from Chicago, drill rap, they're talking about killing people, shooting people, they gangbang. He notably, if you know about him, he got his start because he was a nerd. He wore a backpack and a polo, and he wasn't a gangbanger. He rapped about his feelings and girls and his dreams and his ambitions. So, no, and by the way, he would tell me all the time, he doesn't even feel black. They make him feel not black because he doesn't do those things, because he's soft-spoken, because he's artistic, because he's a bit of a nerd or likes fashion. So I would disagree. He's actually not like that at all.
Okay. He's also a Hitler-loving anti-Semite. And we're going to take a little commercial break here. And we're going to come back about...
Bro, see, that's the issue. All he has is, like, racist this, sexist that, anti-Semite this, and, like, all these...
Did you hear what he said? He goes, that's what I like about him.
Yeah, but it's all... I didn't hear that, actually. that's like...
Yeah, it's the very end.
But, bro, like, you need arguments other than you are an ist or an old or all of these things, bro. It's just so low.
commercial break here, and we're going to come back about.
Oh, he did say that's why I like him. Amazing.
See what you said about the same subject matter.
Again, bro, you would expect at some point when you keep calling people ists and obes and all of that stuff, and they like react to like so apathetically, like it's like, okay, yeah, I am racist. Like at some point you need to drop that because it's clearly not working, right?
Legal Studios after the
Let's get this thing going. There we go.
Anyway,
we're back.
Okay, back with Nick for Inches. Let's just turn to anti-Semitism. In your interview with Stephen Crowder last week, you answered emphatically, you don't hate all Jews. Is that correct? That's your position?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to play you this clip.
Well, I don't hate any Jews. Let me just amend that. I don't hate any Jews.
Okay. Let's play this clip.
The reason I've had it is because my opposition to world Jewry and Israel is rooted in absolute, uncontestable fact. We have the truth on our side. That's why we're winning. Because we are telling the truth about the historical antagonism between Jews and Europeans, between Jews and Christians. The theological, historical, racial, cultural, and political antagonisms between organized Jewry and the Christians, organized Jewry and Europeans. And the reason that we are winning that argument is because it's real, it's true. I can prove it, I can show you, I can name the names, I can show you the paper trail, the money. That is why we're winning. That is why all of this is raising the consciousness.
When you say you have this opposition to world Jewry, I mean, it's one thing to criticize, for example, the Israeli government over what's been doing in Gaza. I've done that myself. When you talk about world Jewry, I presume you're talking about the 15 million Jews in the world, and you are opposed to them. How does that square with your position that you don't hate any Jews?
Well, do you take issue with my use of the term world Jewry?
What do you mean by that?
Absolutely.
Would you take issue with it? Do you have a problem with it?
Clarify what you mean by it.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. The gaslighting's crazy because I use that expression on my show all the time. I say organized Jewry, world Jewry. And do you know that for like 30 years, the World Jewish Congress has an annual keynote called the State of World Jewry? Barry Weiss has given it. You can look it up, it's on YouTube. She gives the State of World Jewry address.
What do you mean by it?
I mean, you have to talk about, there's a concept of Jewish peoplehood. It's the sense that they are part of a common nationality, a common tribe, a common people. And so where they reside in Israel, the United States, or Europe, or elsewhere, they see each other above or maybe on a different level alongside their nationality, their state, wherever they reside. If they're in Germany, France, the United States, they see themselves as part of a transnational nation, of an international nation. The Jews in America, the Jews in Israel, they identify as Israeli or American, but they also have something in common. They identify as part of a common nation, which I would say there's a world Jewish population. It's world Jewry. And world Jewry has representatives. There is such a thing as the World Jewish Congress, where they actually elect, it's democratic, all the local Jewish organizations elect representatives to represent proportionally the Jewish population in their area at the World Jewish Congress. And it's sort of like Davos. It's like the World Economic Forum, but it's exclusively for members of the Jewish nation that exists across the world. And so that's a real thing. And I didn't make that up, and that didn't come from 4chan. It's like I said in that clip. I read what they write. I read their books. I watch these speeches. I watch a speech from Barry Weiss. I pay very close attention. So that's what I mean by that. There is such a thing as it's a nation that exists across borders on a global scale. They're organized, and they have a national self-interest as that nation, as that tribe.
So if you don't hate any Jews, what do you like about them?
I like a lot of things about them. I think they're funny. I think they're smart. I think that they're pretty remarkable people. And as Christians, especially as Catholics, we say they're remarkable. And this has been adjudicated in Catholic doctrine for thousands of years. We say that they're a witness people. And so we actually, there's provisions inside of Catholic doctrine that says we need to give them special protections because they were a witness to Christ's passion. So, this is why you can't flip the show. You have to watch the whole thing. I say this repeatedly in interviews. I do think they're remarkable. By definition, they're exceptional people. It's just that there is a sort of natural opposition between them and Christians because of the theology. We believe that Christ is the Messiah. They don't. They have been a minority in Christian lands for thousands of years, and they have been pushed around and expelled, and they've been persecuted and segregated, and that's why there's a lot of paranoia, there's a lot of distrust, there's maybe some sense of chauvinism among Jewish people. So there is, like I said in that clip, there is an historical antagonism between these two peoples, between Christendom and Jewry, and that has always been the case in Europe. But I don't hate them. And I think I actually sort of understand them in a weird way. I think that because I've studied a lot of their politics, I think I really kind of know them in a way. And it doesn't come from a place of hatred.
Do you have any Jewish friends?
I do. I have many, yes.
But that's weird because you said this.
Jews and Christians have never been friends, ever. Not since Jesus Christ fought with the Pharisees have we ever been friends. Not since Saul was leading the charge persecuting the Christians. Not since the Roman Empire, not since the Middle Ages. Never. We've never been friends. We've never been allies. We've always been set against each other, actually. And even here in the United States, it was communist Jews who were the architects of both communism and the civil rights laws that are dispossessing white Christians of their land and civilization.
The Jews and Christians have never been friends ever, except for you and your Jewish friends.
Yeah, so easy. As peoples, as nations.
Got it.
Not saying every individual Christian, and that. Of course, there have been Christians and there have been Christian converts to Judaism, Jewish converts to Christian. You're not in your head, but you're asking this. I'm saying as people say,
no, I hear you. I'm a Catholic like you, and I've many Jewish friends. I'm just trying to compute what you're trying to say, which is Jews and Christians have never been friends ever. I'm like, you have Jewish friends. I have Jewish friends. We're both Catholics. Therefore, we're Christians. It doesn't really quite add up.
Well, like I said, as peoples, there has been an historical antagonism as peoples, and you could even say the same about blacks in the United States. Of course, there were black and white people that were friendly with each other, but in many ways they were set against each other as groups. And I think that's easy enough to understand.
The reason that many people think you're anti-Semitic is that you have regularly downplayed the Holocaust, and in particular the number of Jewish people who were murdered by the Nazis. It's been said that you believe no more than several 100,000 have been killed. And I want to play you this clip.
People talk about, what about the gas chambers? Well, to the extent that that's real, I find that hard to believe, but to the extent that's real, there have been atrocities committed and genocides committed in all times and all places. Let's acknowledge why Hitler casts the long shadow. Because that confers a political benefit upon Jews. That's why. It doesn't really sound correct to me. Wait a second. It takes 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make $6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there.
You think that's funny?
It's funny. It's amusing what you're doing because, that one was a joke. But do you want to talk seriously about the Holocaust?
I do actually. I do because I just find it extraordinary that you would think the Holocaust could ever be something that we could joke about.
Why, too soon? Is it too soon to make jokes?
How many people?
This is amazing.
Jewish people.
What makes you think there's anything we can't joke about?
Like, what's the number? 6 million, something like that?
So you
8 million?
You concede that 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust?
Possibly more. Possibly, we're discovering all the time. So it could maybe even be more than that.
So why have you doubted the numbers in the past?
I'll tell you why. I really think that every death is a tragedy, however many Jewish people died in the Holocaust. And I'm not a World War II historian, so I'm actually open to believing the official narrative, and I've read some of the conspiracy theories, and to tell you the truth, it's a rigorous debate. But, what's interesting about this is in many countries, it's not even legal to talk about it. And that's really where my interest in the Holocaust begins and sort of ends, to tell you the truth, is that if you wanted to question the number, you would be put in jail in about, 17 or 18 European countries. And I think that's really the more interesting conversation, which is that this is almost like a religious dogma in the West. No other genocide, no other atrocity is treated like this. Could you imagine if in the United States they said the number of Palestinians killed in Gaza is 100,000, and if you don't say that, you're going to jail, you're banned on X, you can't have a job? That's the part that's totally insane. And a lot of people, they can't even make up their minds. I think it's actually done a disservice. If your goal, and I'm not saying you as Piers Morgan, but if your goal, if you're an advocate for awareness about this, and your goal is to convince everybody that this is the way the Holocaust happened, I think the last thing you want to do is say that everyone that disagrees is in jail and is banned and you're not allowed to say it. So there's really been no open debate about the subject since the scholarship started to be produced about 60 years ago.
There is no debate to be had about the number of people who were murdered.
Amazing.
Even the Nazis
Amazing.
In the trials after the war confirmed the numbers. The amount of documentation that was recovered, notwithstanding the attempt by the Nazis to destroy it, the amount of documentation that was saved and preserved and used for trials, historical record, is unprecedented in the history of mass slaughter of human beings. So we have a very clear idea of how many people were gassed to death in the gas chambers. We have a very clear idea of how many were starved to death, were kept in ghettos, died of disease, of forced labor, of death marches. We know how many Jews were slaughtered. It's at least 6 million. What's interesting to me is that you appear to now concede that, which may be news to a lot of your regular viewers who have constantly heard you quibble with the number of Jews who died in the Holocaust. And for the record, just to confirm what I think you told me, you do now accept that at least 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
Well, no, I said it could even be higher than that.
Well, it could be higher. That is true.
It's at least.
But
I
you
think
said
you're right, it's at least. Oh, it's at least 6 million.
Okay.
It could be 100 times
People
more
are going
than
to be,
that.
okay, the people are going to
Let
be...
me respond to your...
He's trolling him, isn't he?
Sure.
What you're saying...
Oh,
100 times more.
100 times more.
Our possessions and so on, let that speak for itself. But you don't see, your show is called Piers Morgan Uncensored.
Yeah.
But the United Kingdom is censored, and Europe is censored. And if you talk about these things, you will be put in jail in many countries. And I think that's where a lot of people start to say, well, if the truth is so clear and if there's such overwhelming evidence, why do you need to throw people in jail for disagreeing? And you yourself said, well, there is no debate. I think everything is debatable. I think everything at least should be debated. And if the evidence is very one-sided, let the evidence speak. Don't throw people in jail. So do you think that Holocaust denial laws should be overturned?
I don't particularly agree with Holocaust denial laws. I don't think people should be imprisoned.
Okay.
Because I have a blanket view now, which has evolved slightly actually over the years, that I have a blanket view that speech should not be criminalized. Right? People should be allowed to say what they want to say.
Except in England, where we're going to throw you in prison.
What they say. If you have an employer, they can make a view about whether you are the right kind of person they want for their employment, as they would make a decision about anything else you do in life. So I actually believe that speech should never be criminalized. It's my personal view. I understand why in places like Germany, they have strong laws about it because they want to move on from what they believe was the most shameful moment in their history. I understand that. Do I want that in my country? No. Am I appalled by what has been going on with free speech in the United Kingdom in the last 2 or 3 years? Absolutely. It is ridiculous that people have been front marched to prison cells for stuff they put on social media. Right? So yeah, I do. I think what is more interesting to me about our exchange is I was not expecting you to go the opposite way. I was not expecting you to be so emphatic that at least 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust. There'll be people watching this who I think will be very surprised by that, because you have built a reputation for being, if not a Holocaust denier, but somebody constantly questioning in a downward way the number of Jews who were murdered. That doesn't appear to be what your position is now.
He's trying to throw him a bone.
And here's what I would like to see for my entire career. When I started my show, it started with a good faith inquiry, where I was
It's
questioning.
very simple. It's saying it could be even more than that. So how do we know? We're gonna
He's trying to get Piers Morgan off the script.
No, well, we have to look into. No, I don't think he's doing that. I think it's just simply.
Moving to the middle again.
I think it's more than that. So you're gonna have to actually count to find the real number. Unless you count, then you'll find it.
It's at least 6.
What is the answer on the other side? But what I found is that the answer was criminalized. So when you would talk about anything regarding Jews, Israel, the Holocaust, you could be in favor of the official narrative on those things. If you went against, you were banned, censored, and in some countries jailed. And so I actually haven't made up my mind on that, because that's not really a matter of interest to me. And there's a lot of analysis and scholarship on both sides of the issue. And I've read both sides of the issue. And honestly, unfortunately, it's hard to judge because there's never been a debate on it. And there's never been a debate because of the stigma, because of the censorship. And I think that leads a lot of people to say, well, what do they have to hide? Because you can say on your show, well, I'm personally against Holocaust denial laws, yet they still persist, and the social consequences still persist. And I think that is the anomaly. And people have to wonder, okay, why is it that way? And what I said in that clip is the reason the Holocaust casts a long shadow is because it confers a political benefit upon organized Jewry. That is what they always fall back on. They cannot be criticized, they cannot be named, they cannot be talked about, lest there be another Holocaust. And no other tragedy is treated that way, and no other ethnic group has a get-out-of-jail-free card. Just play that. Anti-Semitism and Holocaust, you can do whatever you want and defend all your actions. That's the part that people are getting upset with. That's the problem.
I don't know any right-minded person who believes Jewish people weaponized the Holocaust or their own personal get-out-of-jail-free, whatever you call it.
Anyone that does that?
I'm sure there are some people that do that. It's such a ridiculous generalization. You know, the truth is that most Jewish people have lost relatives in the Holocaust. If I want to play you two clips. One is where you talk about Adolf Hitler.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, you know, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool.
You regret saying that?
Saying a fact? No, that's not
It was very fucking cool.
Yes, I do.
One of them.
And I'm tired of pretending he's not. To be honest.
This is the problem, you see. It's like when you just say, I'm a racist. You're a racist, you think Hitler's...
Well, the Joker quote.
If you're a Jew...
Remember me, Joker.
This. What are they thinking? I'll tell you what they're thinking, because I've got a friend of mine called Danny Finkelstein, who, when he heard I was interviewing you, he's a Times journalist in the UK, very eminent journalist here, and author, who wrote a book about his own family's experiences at the hands of Hitler and Stalin, because you also told Tucker Carlson that you admire Stalin. But let's just tell you what Danny said here.
Hi Piers, it's Danny Finkelstein here. As you're interviewing Nick Fuentes, you might try suggesting to him that he reads my book, Hitler, Stalin, Mum and Dad. It's called Two Roads Home in the United States.
Always plugging something.
On Team Hitler. You might like to ask him about the fact that Hitler arrested my mum, tried to starve my mum to death, did starve my grandmother to death, sent my great aunts to the gas chamber, my great uncle, my cousin. My grandmother on my father's side ended up being 1 out of 7 children, the only one that survived the war. So you might ask him whether he wouldn't rather be on Team Mum rather than Team Hitler. And as for celebrating Stalin's birthday, well, Stalin took my father, sent him to a state collective farm, sent my grandmother and to a state collective farm, sent my grandfather to the Gulag. You might try asking why he doesn't celebrate Dad's birthday rather than Stalin's. It may all be a big joke to him, but he complains that he was 18 when someone tried to cancel him. Stalin and Hitler arrested my mum and my dad when they were 10 years old. So that's what we consider.
Green has built a reputation on feisty combat and inflammatory insults.
When you say that Hitler was very fucking cool, are you joking or do you actually think he was very fucking cool? Not as just a monster of the last 150 years.
Yeah, the thing is, my generation, we're just done with the pearl clutching.
Your generation hasn't gone through what Danny Finkelstein's family went through, so maybe the pearl clutching has a way to go for families whose family members.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, we got all that. We meet mom, like we're I don't know who this person is. Why is this person talking to me? This old British guy is saying me mom got killed by Hitler and
he
my
doesn't
dad
find
got
it
killed
funny
by.
when you say Hitler's very fucking.
I don't care. I don't care.
I really don't care. That's fine. You don't have
I'm getting to represent you in Washington,
Does
D.C.
that guy care about America? Does that guy care about me and my country and my family? No.
He cares what you, a prominent conservative in America, has to say about Adolf Hitler. And what do you mean by Hitler is very fucking cool? Because I think he's very fucking a monster.
It doesn't matter what you think.
And that's a clip. I think he's very fucking a monster. Do you hear yourself?
Yeah,
I mean, can we all grow up?
I do.
Can we all grow
He
up?
murdered
That
12
is just
million
childish.
He murdered 12 million people. What is very fucking cool about that? Tell me.
The edits, it's just cool. The uniforms, the parades, it's cool as a guy. You look at World War II, and it's fascinating, and it's interesting, and it's compelling, and it's cool. And we're just tired of saying these kinds of things. We want to talk like real people and give our honest opinions, and then we literally get an old Jewish guy from England who's going to say, "Oh, that's not very funny, mate." And it's like, shut up, like. We're in favor of genocide, so let's just get that out of the way. We're not in favor of a Holocaust or genocide.
You think if half your family
years ago?
You think if half your family had been wiped out by very fucking cool Hitler, you still think he was very fucking cool? Or would you think that actually he was a despicable monster who murdered 12 million people, who targeted people Jewish, Romani Gypsy, binary he's systematically insinuated their gas chambers. Do you think you would find it very fucking cool if your family went through that? Do you think you would find it very fucking disgusting? Perhaps moderate the number of times you say something like, I want to joke about it, I want to abuse anything to think, because I think incredibly powerful to his extended family, Nazis, and your other hero, Stalin. So my point to you, Dave Francis, is that the past is you're trying to come across it all from the way you try to get the past just to get in with what you said this guy's disgusting. Why would you say this about someone who perpetrated such an evil? And what's the real answer? Why do you? Is it just for clicks? Is it for money? Is it just for fun? For shits and giggles? What is it? What motivates you to say something like Hitler was very fucking cool?
It's for this. It's for all of this. And the lack of self-awareness is amazing. You're a boomer. You're a 60-year-old boomer. And we've spent maybe 3 minutes on you saying, he's a really fucking monster. He incinerated people. This. And I'm sitting here saying it's not that serious. It's not that deep. And
not that serious.
I'm getting at,
not that serious.
Do you want to say more about
you're not kids yourself anymore. You're not a teenager.
I know.
Right? You're nearly 30, to be clear.
Yeah.
Okay? You're a fully formed adult who has a brain, right? And at some stage, that brain is taking you off these
rabbit holes. Is this an interview or is this a lecture? Can I respond to what you're saying?
I want you to explain why you think it's fine to say how fucking cool Hitler is and to dismiss the very powerful 90 seconds from a British journalist who lost a lot of family members to the Nazis. In such a callous, dismissive manner.
I don't think it's powerful. I think we've been hearing that our entire lives. Okay, the Schindler's List. But let's just be honest. The propaganda is over the top. We have been in America.
What about the Schindler's List? Something about the Schindler's List.
I'll tell you about it. We have been browbeaten as a people, as Americans, as Westerners, for our entire lives. And you know what this has done? It has taken away any sense of pride, any sense of love for our own civilization. We have been made the villain in our own story. We have been made because, well, let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster. This has been the political narrative, which is why we've thrown open the borders. This is a political narrative, which is why we can't be a conservative society as a whole anymore, why we can't be proud of Europeans, why we can't be proud of being Christian. Because they've told us, if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, it's true. And that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is bullshit.
Honestly,
yeah, it's a crime. You don't want to hear any more about me, mom and me, dad.
Listen. What you just said is a
me, mom, and your dad.
The open society.
And in your gut, you know it is. You weaponize this stuff. You weaponize this stuff for money. But you know when you say something like what you just said.
I'm from banking. I'm from banking and credit cards. You know who you're talking to? I do it for money. How much money you make? Your company's worth $100 million. Your company's worth $100 million.
Fat niggas like.
Or they would.
$9. Why you rarely see this discussed in Muslim apologetics? Because admitting this raises uncomfortable questions. Why didn't Muslims preserve their earliest Qurans? Why were so many sold or lost? Why do the oldest Qurans contain textual variants? Why does the earliest textual evidence sit in Western archives, not Islamic ones? This contradicts the apologetic narrative of, quote, we preserved every letter perfectly from the beginning, end quote. Conservation labs and climate-controlled archives that Muslim countries never created. That's why the oldest Qurans, the ones that show textual variants, are in Paris, London, Berlin, Tübingen, and St. Petersburg, not in Mecca or Medina.
That's such a powerful statement.
You're going to go into nursing or some sort?
No, it's a stripper position. Yeah.
Oh.
Or temple work. Yeah, but they will fire her when they find out she's got the right boob bigger than the left boob. It's very frowned upon, you know.
What, different size boobs?
Yeah.
If God and creation are
Most of them are.
ultimately distinguished.
It's not symmetrical. Guys have the same issue downstairs.
Stupid.
What do you mean they're non-dual? They are different subsets. Dualism deals with non-contingent fundamental reality.
Hold on. The question is, if God and creation,
Oh
if
my
God
God.
and creation are non-dual,
Everybody say
you said you rejected dualism.
What does dualism have to do with creator-creation distinction? Just because dualism, like I said, non-contingent fundamental reality.
And robbing people with violence, that is a new thing happening now in Norway. So I can understand that it's more difficult for for America to write up the wrong that they've been doing for so many years. But I don't think that is making Europeans and Norwegians
like if they haven't been
just because we have it much better.
The legal system has failed, and everyone recognizes that. People are not being rehabilitated.
What do you think? What do you think?
More
is
and
going to
more
happen?
people are
How
in
do
the
they take
system.
over Africa? Because remember at the beginning of the post, it said
generation. Christianity doesn't have a strong
this-
enough pull on this society. You know what I mean?
And it was great, and it was a team project, and it was a real thing, and it brought together all the knowledge we learned in the degree. Yep. And that's much harder. If you can do that with the aid of AI, good luck. That's great.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, writing. He's right.
You can get it to help you.
That's right. But writing should be encouraged to be fraudulent.
Because if the Chinese are like kids are using AI in every single one of their classes, and the American professors are all fucking curmudgeons being like, "Don't use that. We're going to be behind." No,
I think
it's a big philosophical debate, right? It's a huge.
I think Pat. So there's two ways to look at it, and I want to get back to Benjamin's trying to say, but I want to say that there's two camps to look at it. I think Pat really wanted to have a great methodology about actually having people come to campus, take their first writing class, half capacity, it's intensive, and no AI. Meaning that everything is done, literally taking it back to the Stone Age if you want to agree with it. Course, like short presentations, writing in class, nothing assisted, right? It's kind of like a no calculator approach, right? You can do that and you can make it work for one class. Right, like you can make sure that person is who they say they are in terms of the way they write. The other approach, of course, is to not worry about it because we have this virtual assistant that's going to help us be able to write no matter how we are, and then you're just teaching them how to use the AI to not be an idiot, right? So like taking whatever level you're at and improving your studies, improving the way you write over time should be the goal. Like we want people to become better writers, and if you can do it through AI, it's not a cheat. It's just AI helped you instead of a human. It's like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, it's very similar to I've got these glasses. They're actually called something pro glasses. When I go to Japan, because my Japanese is still not perfect after how many years of studying.
I tell them that it's not for everybody to get married, and I think that's the only way that you can have sex. I think that's the only illicit way as a Catholic is you can have sex is within marriage.
Why don't you get married?
I'll get married later. It's been difficult for me because people are shooting at me at my house. I don't know that I don't want to have kids and a wife. My wife would be screaming about that. Me, I have to be able to take risks and be able to say these things.
He lives like a nigga.
A family, a life, things like that. But for my followers, I tell them to get married. But what's happening with women?
You literally just told your followers, why not? In that clip, you literally told followers, women, they get old, they get fat, they get ugly, they get very annoying. So where's the incentive to get married to women?
It's true.
You're actively telling them
You're extrapolating a lot.
Just pointing you back yourself again.
No, but you're extrapolating and saying, well, you say women are annoying, so therefore, what's the incentive? We have to do it in spite of the fact that they are annoying. We have to do it in spite of the fact that they talk too much. We can get them to lose weight. We can put them on peptides. We can get them to the promised land, but it's going to be...
I think this is one of the women saying why none of them are going
to you should see my DM. Granted, not all of them are attractive. Some of them are attractive.
Are you actually, good to clear up one of the many theories that you have no idea the answer is, you have no answer. But are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around. Okay. So, there's that.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
No.
I do not. No, absolutely not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So amazing. I love Nick Fuente. He should be the president, bro. Like he's right on everything. It's crazy, except for the Holocaust thing.
Aren't you, Nick Fuente? All women are annoying. old people are bald, they all get fat. Says the guy, have you ever had sex?
Is this
Absolutely not.
Wow, says the guy, not they.
Oh, classic.
That's the thing, though. You boomers, it's
You think
always
you're an expert in women?
free love.
You've never got laid?
Yeah, we are going back to the Stone Age. You're absolutely right. This, you're talking about empathy, and you're
Weird, bro. That's what I was thinking it as too.
Reported.
Let's see if Dickerson's account gets deleted.
Attila